All right, I saw the fourth episode of Acolyte, and every time I do one of these shows, like Doctor Who or STD and stuff like that, and by Doctor Who, I mean, obviously, the current iteration, once in a while, I say, you know what, this one was probably their best episode, or it almost was a good one, that sort of thing. In the case of Acolyte, 4 episodes in, who knows how it ends, and this one was probably their best, in that it was rather simple. I don't know, maybe I missed it in lines or whatnot, that there was some more lore breaking and that sort of thing, a retcon. The last episode was the biggest one as far as that goes. A lot of people jumped on the describing the Force as a thread or whatnot, but that's how this small coven interpreted it unto themselves. That in and of itself, I didn't really care about. The birth of the girls being, children of the Force, of course, that is lore breaking. It's supposed to be this big deal when Anakin is born, and yet it had already happened a long time ago. And Jedi were oblivious of it until they met the girls when they're, I don't know, teenagers or nearly teenagers or whatever and that sort of thing. And then there's no mention of it. It's a stupid, lazy retcon, shoehorned in, just in and of itself on that level. It's just stupid. The rest of it, there was all kind of clunkiness and stupidity overall in the flow of the episodes, and it's just like, oh, come on, that kind of thing. Finally you get to this one, which is more to the just a very simple plot. Where's the Wookiee Jedi? And if you were looking forward to seeing a Wookiee Jedi in action doing Wookiee stuff with the Force, I got bad news for you. It doesn't make it out at the end. We don't even get to see any Wookiee Force action or anything. So that's a bit of a letdown. But it's not about that. It's about this murder and whatnot. It doesn't answer any questions that were left after the previous episode. Was it all May and that sort of thing? Who is the Sith Master? I suspect it's the horned lady, the other mother, who's posing as a man behind the Kylo Ren helmet with a Joker face on it, and that sort of thing. Well, that character makes their full appearance. Well, maybe not full appearance. The mask is still on at the end of this story. But for the bulk of it, they're looking for the Wookiee Jedi. Is it Kalanaka? Who cares? Wookiee Jedi will work. And along the way, you've got the Jedi doing this. First, you go to Coruscant and stuff like that, and then they get the mission, and Saul pretty much begs Osha to accompany him, because she's like, I'm going back to my job. You guys take care of May. She's a murderer. I did nothing I can do about it. But he recruits her for the mission, and so off they go. They get there. Meanwhile, May is going there too, because Wookiee Jedi is her next target of the Jedi she wants revenge on and all that. And she's been tasked by this mysterious Sith Lord to do it. And so she's tromping through with, Asian Ezra Miller. And then, I don't know, she does a 180 and decides, I'm going to turn myself into the Jedi, and I'm not going to serve the evil master anymore. And arguably, had it been structured well, you could say, and they do point it out that Saul believes this, that realizing her sister is alive has changed her mind about all this, and so now she wants to make amends, and she'll throw herself on the mercy of the Jedi Council and all this stuff. Meanwhile, the Sith Master would kill her, but she's willing to do the risk because there's still good in her. And Osha reminds her of her goodness. Although she seemed pretty psychotic back in her youth when she burned down the Coven Castle and all that. But again, was she completely responsible? I suspect not. But nevertheless, she did kill these Jedi. And just from that story, they didn't deserve any of that, which I think chances are it's really sloppy and they don't detail the reason for the Jedi feeling so guilty. Certainly, Torben, who does himself in. Why would he do that? If there's no explanation for it, well, you can chalk that up to the idiocy, but just basic sense would tell you there's something more to the story than we got, which can go a much longer way of negative reactions to it, in that it trashes the Jedi, something on an individual level, yeah, but I'm thinking it's going to be more overall, So anyway, eventually they do come together. May makes it first to Wookiee, Jedi Wookiee, and Dun, he's already dead. Somebody's taken a lightsaber to him. And who could it be? Well, obviously, it's the Sith Master. So the Jedi turn around. They get there, too. And, of course, they think, oh, May did it. And they're, come out of there, May. And then suddenly Saul senses a disturbance of the Force and turns around, and there's the Sith Master floating into the scene. I suppose some people would have a problem with that, but I can see where you could use the Force to fly, if you were really good at it. And Mace Windu kind of did that in Attack of the Clones. So anyway, and then their Sith Master lights the lightsaber and seems to be threatening Osha, while the Jedi have all ignited their lightsabers, and to be continued. So there you go. So just in and of that, it's fine, I suppose. One thing that kicks you out is they had to talk about the pronouns of this little creature who's like a bloodhound for them. He looks kind of like a walking, otter or something. So there's like, is he or they with us or something like that? And she asks, and they explain, oh, it's a tracker. Yeah, it's like, oh god. But anyway, it's fine. And there's certain elements that they've got the wipes. A lot of wiping. Segues between scenes, which is, very Star Wars-esque. And the music is good. The music is really making an attempt, probably, I think, the first of these shows, to really try to conjure or channel John Williams' style for a Star Wars story. So, and the photography, I think some people have watched other reviews, don't like it and criticize. I don't know. I think it's pretty good. But ultimately, it's just, this story didn't bother me as much because it's just very basic. Where's the Wookiee? They're looking for him. They're dealing with their interpersonal things along the way, which is standard for this stuff. They run into some monsters, but they manage to get through it. All that. And then the big confrontation, which leaves you on the cliffhanger for the next week's episode. And that's pretty standard, and it's fine. So, okay. But problem is, so much stupid has already happened. It doesn't really matter that hey, look, your fourth episode was pretty good, And there's quite a few of these shows where I could go, this one they did, as I said in the opening, and said, if only they could all be like this. And that's true, but they just can't leave it alone. So that's about it for Acolyte episode 4. you know, it is what it is. But certainly not gonna, oh man, this really turns it around. That's not really possible at this point. And of course, Star Wars overall, so badly damaged. I don't know what all the hoopla and hysterics is about it at this point. I think that was a pretty sound conclusion already. So even if this show was okay and good and didn't damage any lore or anything, I don't think it would have done much for it. Other than just the comparison is like, hey, is Star Wars coming back? You know, that kind of thing might have happened just giving when you're given a very basic show, which is kind of like what Mandalorian originally was. It was very basic, you know, that being cowboy in space, this being some sort of murder mystery in space. And that could have been fine. But after all the bad and stumbles and sabotage and just absolute nastiness as a marketing strategy, there's no hope, really. So this is just, I don't know, morbid curiosity, I suppose. So there you go, episode 4.